I've been sick for about the last week. Today's the first day I felt like doing anything. This is the job that I was working on in the previous video. I came out here about 2:30 today. Didn't film anything, but ended up using both hands the whole time. And did some more on it. And come spring, probably just run a regular tractor and a bush hog through some of this. All this stuff will just be rotten by then. Be a great area for some pine straw, I should say. But that hillside area, I did it today. Like I said, once all this rots, come spring, go over it again when the growth's done back. I'll mulch up in the dirt. Today I'm going to clean up this old home site. Going to keep the crepe myrtles. Everything else that's here is going to go away. There's some brick and metal in there, so I'm going to need to be careful and watch what's going on with it. Not going to do anything with that big giant dead tree, but going to clean up all this area here as best I can. The old deck underneath there is going to need to be watched. But if this went on the grounds rotten enough, you can probably clear it out. If not, that'll be a job for the thumb and the bucket. Well, I'm gonna get started. Well, I'm doing the one-handed thing again. I still hadn't invested in a camera. That this pine that's on the ground may be kind of rotten. If it is, well, not as rotten as I thought. I should be able to move most of it out of the way, cut the brush. Then once I cut the brush, maybe push it up where it can be burned. One thing I like about this more than I would like having a skid steer with a cutter on it, I can park on decent good ground and see what I'm doing. You can see right there the remnants of what appears to be an old plow. In a skid steer, I would have probably went right on through that. Also right there is an old fence post with hinges. Over here, piece of metal. But with the cutter on the end of the boom, taking a little bit at a time, I can see what's going on and avoid that. There's remnants of an old deck right there. But underneath all this wood, sweet gum, and just brush that's grown up, actually looks like there's good centipede grass. So once all this goes, can be manageable and cut with a mower, be a nice pretty little lawn. Clean this mess up. I found that if I keep the cutter tilted away from me and then come in at about 3 or 4 feet high, depending on what I'm doing, I can end up with some smaller chips instead of long pieces. I'll just keep my weight working back and forth. And then when I get down low enough, which again I'm just doing this with one hand, I get down low enough, I'll just set the cutter down on whatever's left. I end up getting a good little mulch. I'll show you the after of that. Back behind where I was cutting now, up next to the old house. Kind of a tight spot to be using one hand. I think I'm definitely going to need to invest in a camera. I'm going to try to cut this off above that post. And not cut the post. I gotta say, for one hand, I'm doing pretty doggone good as I hit the post. Well, I'm gonna get back to two hands and clean this up, and then I'll come around and show you the other side, show you more of what I was talking about. End up with smaller pieces this way. It used to be like a handrail, and there's some concrete steps behind it. Much better, even with one hand, than it would be doing this with a skid steer. Deck again. I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing with the film. Trying not to hit that post. Ease forward, clean that up by that post, and then I'm gonna come around the other side. And I've got everything I can get here. If you notice, my blade is behind me. So I'm going in reverse right now, but I'm actually pushing the sticks forward. That's the way the machine works. Wherever the blade is, it always pinches forward. Now this is the back side of the area that I was just cutting, old home site. I'm not cutting now, I'm just swinging, letting you see it. I'm going to try to clean up some of this brush that's grown up around the backside here as well. It circles around back to that dead pine we were at. If nothing else, we can get this where we can get it burnt and then be able to cut grass around it. But that's what's here, and I'm going to turn this off, use both hands, and clean up around this. Sitting inside what used to be an old house right now. Back porch, well, fireplace, and then this was the front porch. Let's get it cleaned up. Definitely don't want to hit that concrete. Although there was stuff growing on top of the concrete, I ended up cutting it too. trees, weeds and little trees were even growing up on top of this old porch. Get this cleaned up, be able to push it up around it, get it burnt, figure out what we want to do with this old porch. Be a shame to get rid of it, but don't know what kind of shape it's in, and with all this brush around it, it's definitely just attracting snakes. Oh, get my one hand back. Example of what I was saying about just setting it down on the brush. It just chips it up. I've kind of gone full circle around here. Just swing over so you can see out the front. Cleaned up along that. Got what was growing up on top. Work back around to the other side where that piece of pipe was. There's steps. Old fence post. That old deck's out there, old piece of plow. Chews up this rotten pine pretty well. I'm not really going to try to do much with it. That'll be a job for the bucket and the thumb one day. But I'm going to clean up this little area here. I'll show you what it all looks like. Bricks down there, gotta watch out for. Oh, there's the bricks. I may come around the other side so I can get that better. This is the spot that I was working on by the old house. There's a pine growing up inside that crepe myrtle. That one made to come out by hand. But underneath all this stuff, once the brush gets off, I think I'll burn it. But once the brush gets off, it's good centipede grass. Coming around to the other side. And I'll be able to use the excavator with the thumb in the bucket to get that on the ground, get all this pushed up and burned, start to clean up the area. All in all, this took me about 25 minutes.